One of the things, are you guys like talking about old times over there? I heard someone say, dude, you were bombed. Man. It's one thing to bomb at comedy, it's another thing for people to be like, let's talk about the past. Instead of being here, listening to this asshole. Let's talk about past shit-faced times. That's a new one. What were you guys at least talking about? Can you at least tell me a story? Why not?
She was lost. We didn't know where she was. And now she's here.
Oh, that was today?
No.
Just now? No, I don't know. I believe him. Where were ya? I know, we found her. Where were you?
I don't know.
Oh my God. What happens? Yeah, what's your name? In case you're lost again, I want to know what to yell.
You were last seen here.
What is it?
No.
Just no. Cool, Japanese. I like that. That's a cool name. So it freaks you out for me to talk to you? Cool. It freaks me out when you talk about other times you got shit face. Trying to expose my soul, talking about my gay brother up here. You think my brother sucks dicks so chicks can talk during my shows? No, he doesn't. He does it because he likes it and he wants me to have fun talking about it. I'm not one of those like mean, like fuck you comedians, you know? But like I'm also not super nice either. I'm like somewhere in between. But I'm not gonna turn on you, don't worry. Any more than I already have. Do you smoke pot? Yeah, I love to. It's not a trick. Not a cop. This would be the craziest vice operation of all time. We'd be like, all of you are deadbeat dads, pay us now. You ever remember those? Remember when they used to do that a lot? They'd have like the deadbeat dad like Florida trip giveaway. Those guys must have all felt so stupid every time. They're like, they get there, you show up, you're like, all these guys look like kind of like shitheads. Oh, free trip to Florida. I like to smoke weed. I haven't smoked yet tonight, but I'm going to for sure. Probably in the parking lot of this former Radisson. Love to smoke pot. Sometimes people get on my case, well, don't smoke weed. You're gonna make bad decisions. You're gonna make poor decisions with your life, you know? Really? Exactly, that's what I say. I'm like, well, actually, no, it is true. I do make some bad decisions. Sometimes have you ever bought a t-shirt at Target and gone home and really regretted it? That's what I do. I'm like, maybe I don't like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as much as I thought I did. I'm gonna get high and return this. There you go. I like you. Irish relative. Have you met her? That you guys are both equally shit-faced. You guys should go. Hey, you guys should go fucking iguana shopping together for a little while. Maybe make like a chameleon and blend into this shit a little bit. Hey, lizard jokes. It's cool. Are you from this area? That's cool. Married? Are you married to that gentleman? Oh man. What do you do for a living? If I had to guess.
Yes.
Vape store manager.
New Hampshire's an island. We can't smoke there.
Vape. Like the...
Vape? No, vaping's gay.
See? I get the gay stuff all the time. Doesn't match just my face. But if you don't mind, I don't want to...
What do I do?
Yeah.
Data conversion.
Data conversion, fucking A. It's cool. I don't know anything about that. Wow, you could hear the door very clearly. That was some data from my brain, which tells me, that data tells me not doing great when you can hear squeak, squeak. There was ghosts of Manchester people from the past that came out of that squeak. It was the squeak of Tom Joe. What about you, miss? What do you do for a living, Mrs.? Funeral home. Okay. I think it's good that you work with people who can't hear. I think that's nice. My coworkers don't mind when I talk. I don't know what this guy's problem is. That's a tough gig. So is stand-up comedy though, so shut the fuck up.
You're listening to Hypothetically with Will Newman.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically with Will Noonan. That's me. I'm coming at you right now from 93 South. I'm heading down to Westport, Massachusetts. It's a Thursday. I'm going to a gig. Sorry, it's been a really long fucking time since the last episode. I've said this on this podcast many times. I know it. I'm not so good at putting out episodes on a regular basis. I get it. But I'm not going to get into it forever because it's the same old excuses. But personal life's been going really good. Enjoying my personal life lately. Haven't felt like doing a podcast. I've been doing a lot of other podcasts, a lot of appearances in places, and I've kind of been like, you know what? Hypothetically can wait. I've said everything that needs to be said. But I need to keep doing Hypothetically. Hypothetically is where it's at. Hypothetically, is a podcast people surprisingly still download all the time on a daily basis. Even when I don't put out episodes for a month, people are still listening to it all the time. And I'm like, fuck. Every now and then I check that out and I'm like, damn, I need to be putting out episodes, man. I got an audience and I just ignore them sometimes. That's not cool. That ain't cool. So, fuck it. Here I am again. And don't worry, I got a long drive tomorrow. Fucking real long. I'll be on the road for like 8 or 9 hours tomorrow. And I'll be with another comic, Andrew Della Volpe. So hopefully we'll do an episode together tomorrow or two and we can crank a few out for you before I take another long, unscheduled, unannounced break. But, one big part of the reason why I haven't been paying attention to this podcast that much as the Boston fucking Red Sox are in the World Series, motherfuckers. It's been a crazy ALDS, ALCS, and now the WS. The World S. We fucking, the best season, I think, in years for me as a Red Sox fan. I was at the game. Went to the World Series last night, which I will get into in a moment. But they had the 04 Red Sox, some guys from the 04 Red Sox, which is, I was like 23, 22, 23. Red Sox hadn't won, in 86 years. All anyone could talk about is how they'd probably never, ever win. And it was just such an epic. I don't know if I've had this much fun. I know I haven't had this much fun following a Boston Red Sox team since those 03, 04 teams. And I know a lot of New Yorkers listen to this podcast, and they probably don't want to hear me talk about how much I love the Red Sox for this whole fucking episode, but let me just say, it has been great, and I've been enjoying my time, watching every game, and if you've been following me on Twitter or haven't unfollowed me yet, been tweeting a lot about the Sox, and I don't know, I enjoyed the shit out of this baseball season, and it's nice to be seeing them go all the way. They're just a great group of boys. Just a great group of boys. I'm just happy to see them succeed. What more can I fucking say? I'm sorry. I don't know. Oh, I realized I just missed a big shortcut that my fucking app tried to give me. This is why I fucking don't podcast. Because it fucks me up sometimes. But I've been on these fucking crazy long drives to gigs lately, guys. I've been doing gigs in fucking Queens, New York, up in the tippity top of Maine, and everywhere in fucking between. I've been zip-zooming around the East Coast in this Honda Accord filled with fucking dents. It's to the point now where I could give a fuck. Like, a little Italian man with a tiny sledgehammer could just walk up to this car, swear at me in Italian, and just start like fucking hitting the car, with the thing. I'd be like, go right ahead, you little guinea. Fuck it up, fuck the car up, do whatever you fucking wants. All right, I don't care. She got dents. She gonna get more. But yeah, so I actually went to the game last night. Went to the World Series. That's a bucket list check off moment to go to the World Series. Just in my lifetime. Never knew if I'd ever actually be at a World Series game. I've been pretty lucky in a lot of ways. I've been to some amazing sporting events in my life. Been to a lot of playoff games. Been to some critical playoff games. I saw Ray Allen break the record. I have a joke about it on my first CD, but that's like a real happy memory of mine, seeing Ray Allen bust the fucking 3-point record wide open and win it. That was pretty cool. Wow, I don't know how this happened. I'm driving down the highway right now. I'm sitting in a traffic jam. Of course, I'm in Boston, but there's a 16-wheeler truck faced the wrong way. Oh, probably so they could tow it. Damn. But it's, of course, causing panic amongst the populace as we drive by. So, yeah, I've been to a lot of great things, but I always wanted to go see a World Series game with the Boston Red Sox, of course. Of course, the ultimate bucket list dream is to see the Red Sox win a World Series and be there to see it. But that is so, that's like winning the lottery. They gotta win in your city that you're in. You gotta be at the game. Like, it's a lot of things gotta line up to actually see a team win the World Series. So I feel incredibly fortunate that I got to go to the World Series. I saw them win the game. That's like, that's 90% of the way there. That's pretty good for me. And it's 100% of the way there for things I wanted to do in my life. I just wanted to be at a World Series game with any fucking teams playing. So it's even sweeter that it was the Sox and that they won and that it was a great fucking game and that I was super up close. I was only 3 rows back because my wonderful brother Greg has, great season tickets. He's a member of a law firm and he's a partner at the law firm and they got the bucks, man, and they got the fucking season tickets and I'm pretty sure he pays for the tickets out of his own pocket. We don't get into money, guys. That's not how we do it. But I'm pretty sure when it comes to the playoffs and things like that, you just have the option to go. So pretty awesome, and big thank you to my brother Greg for getting me into that. And it's just been such a great season. I think I went to something like 12 or 15 Red Sox games this year in various capacities, by myself, with friends, with new friends that I made throughout the year, with my brother several times, and then to go to the World Series. It feels, I was saying to my brother jokingly last night, it feels like you're at the World Series, and obviously not in the sense of you won something or like you contributed in any way but it's like I've been following this team since spring training very closely. I kind of decided this year I did like the look of this team, but it was also just me being like, man, I'm just gonna really focus. I'm gonna follow the Red Sox this year a lot. I love this new coach, but also just I haven't I've been busy. Everything's been comedy for like 5 years, and I was like, I fucking love baseball and I'm trying to enjoy life more, and not be such a fucking ambitious fuck and whatever. So I was like, I'm going to focus on baseball a little bit more than I used to. And man, did I pick the right year to fucking do that again. Because the Sox were just lights out amazing good from spring training straight through now to the World Series. There were a lot of 100-plus win teams and 90-win teams, though, which is interesting. It says a lot about the lack of parity, I believe. Is that the word I'm looking for? No one in this car? I'm all alone. I guess parity, but there's no, a lack of fairness. I don't know. There's some pretty lopsided teams in sports. But great year for baseball and great year for the Red Sox, and just I'm psyched to see it. So enough about that. I did have an interest. I'd like your thoughts on this story, though. One of one of my biggest supporters and Twitter followers, Flat Cat. A lot of you know her. If you're a fan of the Compound Media Network and the Anthony Cumia show, which I will be back on November 13th. If you're a fan of those shows, you know Flat Cat on Twitter. She's like big time, you know. And friend of mine now. She's come to see me. We've hung out and met a few times, and it's like a whole thing, you know. So she's got she's got sons. She's actually a widow. It's sad, you know. She's got sons. Raised 3 boys. You know, she's been on her own for a few years, and one of her sons works at Fenway Park, you know, selling the 50-50 raffle tickets. I've been going there all season, and Flat Cat usually will text or what do you call it? Tweet me. Hey, if you see my son, he looks like this. Da da da. She knows I'm a big Sox fan. Her boys are big Sox fans. Anyone who sees my stand-up knows I love the Sox. I talk about them a little bit here and there. And it's just always been a thing that me and Flat Cat talk about, you know, when we talk. And then there was a story that she kind of put out that I just fucking loved, man. I really loved it. It was about, you know, I honestly thought it sounded like a movie, like a short film or a scene in a movie. It was good old-fashioned kind of Boston type stuff, and I'll get into it right now for you. I don't know why I do that on this podcast sometimes, like it's a radio show, and right after this break, we'll talk about it. Have you ever gone to New England's men's health clinic? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's these ads on WEI here for male enhancement. I think it's testosterone, but it's like they got these construction worker guys. 2 guys do the commercials, and they're both just a riot. One guy's like, when you get older and you have a hard time having sex, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And then there's another guy who's like, I went into the New England men's health clinic one day. I don't know. I just felt a little magic or something. I don't know what to tell you. I felt it. And then I went home, and now I'm 55. I feel like I'm 35. And I tell the guys at the construction site, if you want to fuck your wife like you used to, take this injection. I love them. I really love the ads. So, you know, there's like... Anyway, so she tweets this story that I just fucking love, and it's about her son, one of her sons. And, you know, she's got this son who works at Fenway, but he's not around. He's at college or something. But the little brother realizes if he can dress up like the big brother, get into Fenway with his work clothes, and go watch the Red Sox play the Yankees. He can't afford a ticket. He's just a kid. You know, it's a tough ticket to get anyway, even if he can't afford it. And it's a great way for him to get in and see his Boston Red Sox. Now, I personally, like, fucking retweeted it, and, which I felt bad about later, as you can probably already figure out how this story ends, you know? And I actually even talked to Trace Gattos that night. I was like, man, there's this cool little story happening in my Twitter feed right now. I think it would be a great short film. It's like wholesome in my mind. You know, some people are pointing out, oh, terrorism, security, It's like, yeah, but that's not what this is. This is a kid who loves the Red Sox sneaking into Fenway Park. That has been an art form in New England, Massachusetts, Boston. I'm zooming in. That's been like an art form forever. When I was a kid, I tried to sneak into Red Sox games. It's been pretty fucking hard to do since about 1998, but it can be done. When I was a kid, and my dad was a Boston cop, I would just kind of go up to the door and be like, my dad's a Boston cop. His name is George. Do you guys know him? And they'd be like, nah, just go on in. Don't bother anybody. You know, but I get it. That was back in the day, but there was plenty of empty seats in the park. They figure, fuck it, this kid buys a popcorn we win on this deal. Let him in. But those days are over, and I get it. And I get why Fenway security and you know, it's not like the Boston Red Sox are the ones that come down on this kid. It's like some company that runs the concessions, and it's all like removed, and they don't want to lose their contract with the Red Sox. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway, I tweet the story. It gets a little heat on Twitter. A couple other people retweeted, I think. I noticed, though, a lot of people in the comments are kind of yapping, you know. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't be sharing this. Maybe it gets caught. And then I do remember having a moment of doubt about the whole thing in my head. I went, oh, geez, you know, I hope someone out there doesn't decide to drop a dime on this kid just for the sake of doing it, or just for the fun of it, or just to be, you know, maybe it was Red Sox Yankees, you know. So what if this gets tweeted to the wrong person who's a dickhead type of fan of the Yankees, and they want to screw a Red Sox fan over? Or what if it's a 12-year-old who followed? I mean, she's followed by a lot of people on the Kumia network, as am I, and that fan base ranges quite a bit from like 12, 15-year-old kids to like fucking 80 to 65-year-old men and women. I mean, there's all types of people, so you never know who's fucking with you. And a kid with a computer now can do whatever they want. Because that's the thing, she's anonymous online. She probably figured there was no way anyone could ever figure out who her kid was, and he's not even there. It's the little brother, all that stuff. So I figured it was safe too, but guess what? Nope. Before the game was even over, he was found out, you know, and the kid got fired immediately over the phone. And one of my favorite details of the story was that the person who was firing him from his concessions job said, you will never, ever work for a sports franchise in New England again. That includes the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics, and even the New England Revolution. I thought that was a nice touch. Even the New England Revolution. Now, I think this is a bad story. I don't want to criticize the Boston Red Sox in this, because I don't think, A, they even know about it. I don't think they know that this kid, you know, used to watch tons of baseball with his dad, who is sadly dead, that he is a massive fan, and that this is all about guys who love the Red Sox just wanting to be around the Red Sox and see the Red Sox. I think if the Boston Red Sox organization knew all that, this kid would still have a job. But they don't, because it's probably so far removed from them with concessions and raffles and things like that. It's different organizations are in the mix, you know. But if anyone's listening that can help this kid out, get at me. And also, you know, even with the Bruins or Celtics or anything like that, is I guess he's pretty broken up, you know. I mean, his plan in life was to continue to work in some capacity in professional sports behind the scenes, you know. And I know sometimes you do start off in concessions and the raffle and work your way up to some pretty great positions. So I know it feels like a very big thing. I don't know anyone out there. Another person I'd like to hear from, whether you can help me or not, is someone who has been banned from a ballpark or banned from a place like that. I always wonder, how does that even fucking work? Like, I know whenever someone runs on the field at Fenway or something, they're like, you can never come to Fenway again. It's like, how the fuck can they really track every single person who walks into that place and know whether they're allowed to be in there or not? I always wonder how the fuck that works, right? But apparently it is a thing, because I know people who have, or I've heard the story, and I've kind of met people who work at Fenway Park who are like, that's for real, man, don't fuck with that. And not that I ever would. I would never jeopardize my attendance. I take that shit real serious, if like myself. That's why, another reason why this story kind of like shook me up a little bit, because I was like, oh man, this poor kid, like that would freak me out too. If, you know, you're like 17, 18 years old, and you're hearing that you're being banned from some place like Fenway. Now, I don't think they banned him from the park. I think he's allowed to go and watch games and buy tickets and all that stuff still, but he's just not allowed to work there anymore, which to a lot of us would be like, oh, big fucking deal. But to this kid, it is a big deal. So I think that sucks. If anyone out there can do anything, hit me up. willnoonandcomedy@gmail.com. Flat Cat's a very nice lady. Just saw her last weekend. She was at Giggles Comedy Club. Came out to see me with her friend. It's always nice to see her. And, I'd love to help this kid out if we can. Also, speaking of Giggles Comedy Club, fucking controversies here in Boston, Massachusetts comedy scene this week. I was at Giggles last weekend, and I had a fucking awesome time, actually. I turned, it was my birthday, turned 36 years old at Giggles Comedy Club. And if you want to feel young, that's the place to do it. I'm still a kid at Giggles at 36, because most of the comedians up there are in their 50s, 60s, so I still feel like one of the young guys up there at Giggles. So that's a perfect place to celebrate your birthday. And I had a great time. I love hanging out with Lenny Clark and Jim Colleton and Tony V, especially. Tony V's fucking great, man, dude. He's I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours who's known Tony longer than I have, and I'm like, man, I've known him for years, and he's just always been such a great mentor to me and like guy I looked up to. But now he's actually even starting. Now we're like actually genuinely buddies and friends because we work together all the time. And he's just such a good fucking comic and great guy and like truly a role model of mine. I know that sounds so stupid I'm talking about my 36th birthday and saying I still have like role models and heroes, but like guys like him and Jimmy Dunn, they do a podcast together. I look up to a dude who can have a good marriage, good kids, and still do stand-up comedy, and when you see him, they seem for the most part to be pretty fucking happy with their life and not, wanting to fucking go like jump off a building. Sometimes you work with these guys who are famous and rich and they have everything going for them, and you would think that would be enough, but it's like the grind of all that and the amount of work that it takes to keep that fame level up and keep that spinning, it's fucking exhausting, Things change. Your visions shift. Sometimes it's, hey, I'm just getting older and that's what I want. And other times you're like, oh shit, maybe what I thought that was isn't what that was. But anyway, I was just talking to a mutual friend. I'm like, man, I've gotten to know Tony even better over the past couple of years, and just such a good guy. And we did a little acting together that you'll see soon. And it was just an honor and a pleasure to hang with that guy. And I hope you're listening to two guys whacking up a pie with Tony V and Jimmy Dunn. It's a great podcast. If you like this one, you'll definitely like that one. We're kind of like cousins, I'd say. Podcast cousins. But anyway, so love hanging out at Giggles. Love Giggles. Don't want to act like. Well, first of all, I got no criticism. So the story is Louie C.K. performed at Giggles. Louie C.K. is looking for places he can go do some spots, get some reps in. I know he's developing new material, and I heard he's been calling around to different places. He's had some other people calling around for him at different places, and some places are saying yes, and some places are saying no. And really none of my business. I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. If I was on a show and he came in, I would still, my first reaction would be like, damn, Louie fucking CK. That would probably be I've met him 2 or 3 times before, and that's been my reaction every other time I've met him, And I always knew about the jerk off stuff, so I was kind of like, didn't faze me before. I think the jerk off stuff happened before I was even a comedian, But more on that later. But being 2018 and being the way things are now, I guess he's not allowed to do comedy anymore or something. Now, I do think it's a delicate area because comedy is filled with women, It's like not just dudes anymore, especially anymore, but it's never been just dudes, but lately it's really not just dudes. So, if you've got this guy who could potentially be, a predator, you shouldn't have him around women. You shouldn't put women in the situation where they have to be around him, right? That I agree with. But the thing I don't know, and you don't know, and none of us know, is whether Louis C.K. is really a predator or not. Now, I'm not the biggest Louis C.K. fan, really. I've been very critical of him on this podcast for comedy stuff, not for his personal life. But I always thought he was kind of a little overrated, and some of his stuff was like just really hack premises that were kind of reworked into this. They were just smartened up, but they were still hacky at their core. My kids are dumb. Shark fins stick out of the water so you can see the shark. I was like, what the fuck, dude? That's like a hacky joke, But I did think he was a great filmmaker and all that stuff. But I always said I thought he shit on Boston way too much for a guy who got, did a lot of work here. As soon as he made it, I was like, Boston, they haven't done a thing since 1990. Their comedy scene. He used to always, for any chance he got, he would shit on the Boston comedy scene during 2010, 2011, 2012. And I even fucking remember getting ripped apart on one of the comedy message boards here in Boston, because I said that. Everyone was like, who the fuck do you think you are shitting on Louis C.K.? I swear to fucking God. I wish I could go back and find. I'm sure I could, but I deleted my Facebook a long time ago, so this shit's probably all disappeared. But everyone jumped down my throat when I said, don't you think it sucks how Louis shits on Boston in every interview he gets? And everyone was like, how dare you, how dare you, how dare you? Louis is God, you don't know dick. Right? This was 2010, 2011. Fast forward to now, everyone who's done comedy for 2 weeks has a strong opinion on Louis C.K. and theirs is more valid than anyone else, depending on what they look like. But anyway, all that aside, we're talking about a guy. If Louis C.K. had been, convicted of sexual assault or rape in the past couple years, I would 100 fucking percent agree with this outrage of him being on all these comedy shows. But we're talking about a non-contact accusation. I mean, what would you call it in court? Hearsay? That's not the word I'm looking for. The word I'm looking for is it begins with an A. Anecdotal. We're going on anecdotal hearsay that has been filtered through a million articles and blogs and tried over and over in the court of public opinion. But this isn't like Cosby where there's a trial, or just other people where there's even the FBI involved. This is only Louis C.K. has only been tried and convicted in the court of public opinion, and all the evidence is anecdotal fucking hearsay. Now, do I believe that it's but even the anecdotal hearsay is not fucking anything along the lines of what Cosby did either, by the way. He never fucking touched anybody. They're saying he used his power, but this whole woman who was on the phone with him while he was jerking off and didn't hang up can go fuck herself as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes it's on you, I've walked away from money, and it's not easy, and it's not easy when it's $1,000. It's not easy when it's fucking $100 and you need it, So I don't want this whole I was forced to do this, blah 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 blah. You're on your own in this fucking life. Everybody, man, woman, retarded, not retarded, black, white, it's up to you to fucking protect yourself sometimes. If someone attacks you, hurts you, fucks you up, there's nothing you can do. I've been attacked, I've been beaten, thrown downstairs. There was nothing I could have done to stop that from happening. I was a victim in that scenario. There are victims out there. in every scenario. But like, to say someone's calling you up and they're jerking off and you just stay on the phone with them and you don't mention it to anybody and you like still want to complain about that 10 years later, I'm sorry. I just don't fucking care. But having said all that, do I think, knowing a bunch of comedians, knowing people in comedy, knowing creative people, do I think all this stuff is probably true, that Louis C.K. did jerk off in cars with Sarah Silverman and her sister? And did he get shit-faced, like blackout drunk on whiskey and come out of a bathroom drunk and ask 2 girls if they wanted to watch him jerk off? Like, do I think a comedian in comedy could develop a habit of wanting to jerk off in front of people? 100% yes. And also, that whole generation, like, of Louie's guy, like, they were all into jerking off. Like, they jerked off in clubs. It was like a big thing with those 90s New York guys, jerking off. It was like their stress relief. They all had tons of bits about it. Whatever. Point is, I don't care. But the reason why I don't like this is because, you know, Louis C.K. now is like this cancer, and like a lot of clubs are afraid to touch him. And it's not like they're afraid to touch him because they're afraid he's actually going to harass a woman who works at the club. They just don't want to, you know, people just don't want to look bad in the press, which I understand. I don't want to look bad in the press. I haven't taken like a hard stand on any of this shit. I've said no to a bunch of places who want to talk to me about it because I don't fucking want to, you know, put my hat into like this mix of useless opinions about a guy who, like, no one really fucking knows what happened. We are totally gossiping about the women, about Louie. It's all hearsay, anecdotal bullshit, right? So that's the part to me that doesn't feel right. It feels a little bit like book burning or other types of censorship and mob mentality and witch hunting. I don't like that. You know, even if it's well deserved, that's just not how things are done in America. You know, like if we just decided to let Twitter and the public opinion of people ranging in age from like 11 to 80 like dictate society, we're gonna be fucking dead in 20 minutes. It's insane. It's just insane to like group think, you know, run your life like that. And I think people are a little too afraid right now to step out and say anything that's not extreme one way or the other. And people are afraid to like be down the middle. It's like you can handle these Louis C.K. situations one way, like without being extreme in one way or the other. You can see all sides of it. And like all sides of it are, maybe we should fucking like let this guy talk. Maybe we should at least like have some sort of benefit of the doubt that maybe there's some reasons for all this. And also just bring in to your consideration that all this stuff happened a decade ago. How different are you from the way you were a decade ago? Now, I feel like the guy's been punished quite a bit. You know, basically, a lot of people would like kill themselves, I think, under this level of ostracization. Oh man, I hope that's never in a commercial that I have to do. Are you suffering from ostracization? But anyway, I don't think it's a good direction for our society to be going, to be like, you know, it's always been one thing to be like, man, I don't like O.J. Simpson, but O.J. Simpson didn't have to like wake up every morning and pick up his phone and read 60 million tweets about how no one likes him. Now, on the other hand, you know, if I have nieces, would I want them to meet Louis C.K.? Would I feel great about that? No, I wouldn't. But I'm just trying to be realistic here. I know a lot of women in this business who are fucking disgusting, and I know a lot of men in this business who are fucking disgusting. And I think they both have the right to fucking work as long as they don't hurt anybody. And Louis C.K. did hurt some people, it sounds like, and I think he was punished for it then. I think he's being punished for it now. But at the same time, it's a tough one, because at the same time, I was talking to Valley D on DM, and I clearly don't understand the women's perspective on this, because I'm not a woman and I've never been one. I don't understand what it's like to feel like, you know, like someone could overpower me physically. I mean, I do know what that feels like. There's plenty of guys who could overpower me physically, but the threat isn't there. But I do know what it's like to be super intimidated by famous comedians. A lot of people seem to act like that's only, between the opposite sex and stuff. And like if you're a guy, you're just treated great. It's like I've been fucking insulted. I've been put in weird situations. And I've dealt with some odd sexual things, from high school theater all the way up to whatever. Professional business and stand-up comedy. It's fucking... Art is weird, it attracts weird things. And if we start thinking that getting drunk and whipping your dick out is the same as raping somebody, and they both deserve the same punishment, I think that's a slippery slope. And yes, I just know I've heard the story for many, many years, and it's changed a lot, and a lot of things were right and a lot of things were wrong, but I don't think those women were super traumatized. And I think Louie's agent was like the bigger fucking prick in this story by telling them shit like don't talk about it or whatever. But I also know that Louis C.K. probably let that happen. So do I think he's a great guy? Would I ever want to like really be his best friend? No. But do I think he deserves everything that's happening? Also no. But I don't think he's an actual danger to anyone. That's the bottom line. Like, I don't think Louis C.K. has another jerk off in front of a bunch of people. I mean, this was before he even had children. I think he did this shit. So I don't fucking know, but man, is it a big story. My phone has just been ringing off the motherfucking hook with like friends who want to talk about it, like journalists who want to talk about it, people in comedy who like kind of want to talk about it, but also people who are just like, I don't know. It just seems to be the thing everyone wants to talk to me about lately. And it's funny because I have opinions, but I don't have any connection to it. But I just don't know. You got to think of it in two ways as well. Like even saying everything I just said, there's a 2% part of my brain that's like, you didn't say the right things, Will. Like, this could turn some people off. You might be labeled like an apologist, or you know what I mean? So it's like we all have to think now like we're running for president and like think about all the angles of everything you say, but I'm just kind of refusing to live my life that way. I'm just gonna not participate in this fucking retarded charade that everyone's in right now. So I'm just gonna try and like have some depth and see this thing from all angles, and like let's not bully a bully until he kills himself to make things right. And that brings me to my second point about this thing, which is the great and fabulous fucking Christine Hurley, who was closing the shows at Giggles that night. But, Christine Hurley is fucking queen of Boston comedy right now. She's killing it. She's, one of the funniest fucking comedians I've ever worked with, and that I know. And I don't just mean, like, funny in the way people say, like, their friends are funny. Like, she's also killing it. She's famous. She's been getting more and more famous. Everyone who sees her loves her. Like, as soon as my sister and mother saw her do stand-up, they were, like, instant fans. Girls, boys, everyone fucking loves Christine Hurley. She's probably, like, the fastest rising star in Boston comedy, but she's just doing great and has been doing great, and one of the toughest acts to follow, and just one of the most consistent killers. That's something I fucking value in a comedian. Like, everyone can kill once in a while, You ever watch baseball? Everyone ends the season with like 1 or 2 home runs. That's why they're baseball players. That's why they're in the pros. They're capable of making 1 or 2 home runs a year. Everyone fucking gets lucky one time and hits that fastball just right, and it goes out of the park, right? Any comedian can kill once in a while, but who can kill all the fucking time? Who can kill at will, as they say? Well, you know who can? Christine fucking Hurley. She always kills. She's a fucking beast. And I have so much respect for her professionally, and I'm also good friends with her and her husband, Jimmy. So I was fucking pissed. I didn't realize any of this was going on. I was going about my merry life, just like, just not podcasting, watching Red Sox games, doing really, really hard college gigs, and the secret thing that you all know about already that I just am choosing not to talk about on this podcast. But I've just been living my life having fun. And didn't know that, like, you know, I saw the Louie thing on... I saw that, like, some people, like, I was getting screenshots from people, but I don't have fucking stupid-ass Facebook because I'm not an old woman. And I was very busy because I'm a comedian and it was the weekend. But sometime, I guess it was late Saturday night or maybe Sunday night, I was kind of... Someone goes, you see this? Like, people were getting on Christine Hurley in the fucking newspaper. Not just online, but in the goddamn newspaper for fucking not walking off a show because Louis C.K. did a guest spot on it. And I was just like, what? How is anything her fault? Like, if you want to be like, I don't fucking like Louis C.K. and I don't fucking like the comedy club for putting him up, I guess I can kind of see those two opinions. I get it. Like, I don't understand why you feel that way, but like, I do understand, like, your point of view is what I'm saying, right? So it's like, yeah, if you don't like Louis a lot and you fucking hate his guts, I get it. You don't like him and you don't like the club for putting him on. So I understand that. But, like, I don't understand getting mad at the other comedians on the show who are just trying to fucking make some money that night. It would have done absolutely nothing for the state of, like, feminism or anyone being protected or any of that shit if Hurley was like, I'm walking off this show right now and not performing. All that would have happened was Louis would have got even more stage time. Because someone would have had to fill all the time Christine Hurley was supposed to fucking do. Like, I don't think people really get it. Also, hello, Christine Hurley, a woman, a fucking killer comedian who the first thing people say about her is she's a great comedian, not she's a great woman comedian, not a great female comedian. She is just as good, if not better, than a lot of us men, right? So fucking, that is what equality is. That is what feminism is. She just is awesome. This is what I don't fucking get. Christine Hurley's one of the fucking good ones. She's a beast. She's out there, like, making a shitload of money. She's a star. She's a commodity. She's a business. And somehow people are trying to use her as, like, a stepping stone to bash Louis C.K., which just fucking... First of all, Hurley does not need my fucking protection or any vouch from me. But it just bothered me to no end, man. Like, it's just the hypocrisy of this whole fucking thing. It's like, so you hate Louis because you love women so much and you want to protect these delicate women who can't protect themselves, I guess, or something. Like, a lot of men take on this thing where they're like, women are so strong, but at the same time, they need my protection. So they're talking about how Louis, you need to get this monster out of comedy clubs to protect all these helpless women. Because women are these helpless things that need to be protected. And then in the same breath, you're like, but this fucking bitch, Christine Hurley, how dare she not fall into our fucking, whatever we say. If she doesn't do what we would do and what we would say, and she's out there trying to make, first of all, not just trying to make money, but ignoring the whole fucking thing. She did her business. She did her job. She fulfilled her obligation and commitment. And happily so, and she works there all the fucking time. I noticed some people were, like, really trying, and none of it really, like, it didn't get too much heat, but the volume of it bothered me because people were just trying so hard to throw Hurley under the bus. But you gotta be fucking actually famous to throw someone under a bus and have the bus hurt them. So it didn't really fucking matter because it was, like, only a few like-minded, like, super sensitive SJW types who were, like, actually, vibing on it and retweeting and stuff. But this dude was just going on and on about Christine, and I was like, all right, so you love women so much you're harassing them? like, and just fucking trashing them on Twitter. It just seemed really fucking, the whole thing was weird, sat terribly with me. But I don't have to fucking tell you, if you've seen Christine, I don't have to tell you how funny she is. A lot more people know her than know me, I think. So check out Hurley if you haven't. But I'd love to see this one guy in particular is like this kind of like storyteller guy who's trying to fuck with Christine. It's like, dude, she would just like put both of these people in front of an audience, and it's like, it's not even, it's like Muhammad Ali and an action figure of Muhammad Ali against each other. Like, it would just not even be fair. It wouldn't even be scientifically accurate. But that really fucking, that's what this stuff gets to, People are so concerned with what everyone's doing and making sure the world is this fucking fair and balanced place, and that the people who deserve to lose their jobs and get fucking banned from places are getting their comeuppance. People are so focused on policing this shit all the time. They're not creating anything good or adding anything at all to the conversation or life. It's just fucking perpetually stirring the pot and being like a wasp, just buzzing around, threatening everyone with their stinger. It's fucking annoying, man. I'm just so tired of it. I'm not a right-wing person. I do not enjoy the other side either. I'm not enjoying the fact Trump's working up this country into a fucking like divided like mayhem. I don't even know what you describe it. It's just making everyone's like kind of showing their true colors in different ways, I think. And I know I sound like a fucking Buddhist running motherfucker, but if everyone just were a little more kinder to each other, maybe took like a 3-mile jog or brisk walk every day, maybe take a break from the fucking social media and news for a little while, this country might be a better place. I was talking to a friend of mine about how, inventions in the past used to take us, they used to open our world, The invention of an airplane, the invention of a car, these things open the world up, It was like, man, now I can drive to places I could never get to before. Now with airplanes, I can fly to places I could never get to before, right? All these things people are inventing now are just world closing, It's like, I want a self-driving car. I'm sick of driving, so I want to do less. Drive less. Let the car drive for me. I'm sick of turning on light switches. I want to tell my light switch to turn on. I want to say, Alexa, do this. Alexa, do that. It's all like, do less. Be less. Like, stay in your house more. And when you're in your house, don't even fucking flip light switches. Just fucking talk, and things will turn on and off. It's like, we are just in such a fucking hurry to be complete pieces of shit that I am fucking opting out, as they say in healthcare. I'm fucking opting out of this stupid, weird game. Not life. Don't worry, that wasn't some weird suicidal proclamation. I'm also sick of that, though. I'm sick of like how depressed everyone is and how suicidal everyone is, and that's real. And that's coming from, not to get so heavy-handed, but that's what this Louis C.K. shit, that's an unfortunate byproduct of all of this, I was thinking the other day, when I was a kid and I tripped and fell, I only had to worry about being embarrassed that the people who saw me trip and fall saw me, I only had to be embarrassed maybe that day. Maybe in that moment, I just had to laugh it off and kind of smile. But a kid today, probably the outcome is the same. Most people probably won't see. Most people it's probably the exact same scenario. A few people might see you trip and fall. They might make fun of you. They might not. That's the same. But in their mind, mentally, they have new options that we didn't have. They have a new option of like, shit, did anyone film me tripping and falling? And is that going to get posted? Is that going to be viral? Am I going to become a GIF? Am I gonna have to like move because once you're a GIF, you can't even go, like you can't even walk the streets of America without people bothering you? Is that gonna drive me insane? Like, these kids have so much more like to think of in every single way than I did, that I can't even like wrap my fucking idiot head around it. But I think about that all the time. Like, my trip and fall, like I never had to like worry about being embarrassed on film and having millions of people see it until I, started doing stand-up and stuff. But like, these kids like today, I mean, that's like there's like babies who go viral before they can even talk. What the fuck is that like? I remember there was a girl in my high school who had like been on the Disney Channel for like 14 seconds, and she was like a massive celebrity because that was the time. I mean, is it like that now? If a kid does couple viral vids, are they like a big fucking deal? I wonder. Do I wonder? All right, one last little story. I'm only 11 minutes away from my destination. This is one I want your opinions. Want your fucking opinions on, guys. Bagels. Bagels come in big in this story. So let me tell you, if you hate bagels, fucking turn this podcast off right now, because there's some heavy bagel talk coming. But I liked this bagel place. I was going there here and there. They had a French toast bagel. I was like, holy shit, this could be life changing. So I go there, but I quickly noticed that chicks that work there didn't really give a fuck about cleanliness. Like, they wore the plastic gloves, but they wore the plastic gloves and never took them off. Like, so they're still doing everything that they do with their hands, with like touching their face, like fucking touching the cash register, like fucking touching everything. Like, so just because you have plastic gloves on doesn't mean those gloves are it just keeps your hands clean. So I'm happy for you, but it's kind of gross, right? And I'm not really a germaphobe, and I got to admit, I've been like feeling myself. I went through, I was focusing on the health so much, like the way I was eating, and I was taking some supplements and doing some protein shakes and shit. And somehow thinking about all that stuff, somehow that kind of transitioned into me getting like germphobic a little bit. I've never been a germphobic person, really. Always been afraid of getting sick, but I've never really been germphobic that much. Then all of a sudden I caught myself like thinking more about it. Like, believe me, I wasn't getting crazy like washing my hands all the fucking time, but I was starting to think a little bit more about it and be like, like just noticing things. And I remember kind of mentally telling myself, like, don't get too into this, man. No one likes a fucking germaphobe. Like, it's not a great way to go through life. And I've always been one of those people who's kind of been of the opinion that, some germs are good. You should be getting germs like on a healthy level. You need those germs. You need to like process them and get colds. That's like, you need to. I'd rather get a couple minor colds than like a big flu. And sometimes I think that's what happens to hypos and people who are like way too clean and don't get enough germs. Like, they're too, then your body just doesn't have any defenses. Now, I realize that that's Dr. Will Noonan talking and complete and utter bullshit, but that's how I feel, and that's how I've always felt. And I'm never been a person who got sick a lot, so I figured must be something to it, right? Now, how does this factor into this podcast? Well, I saw this. I kind of had a line in the sand when it comes to germs. I'm at this bagel place, and it was the last time I was there, getting my French toast bagel, and I look up, and Jesus, if this person was any more up my ass, they'd be in my car right now with me. Thanks, dude. Thank you so much for fucking driving like that. Sorry. That's probably why this story's taken 20 years, because I was looking at my rear view like, yep, this guy is a centimeter. We're both going 70 miles per hour, and he's a centimeter off my back bumper. So anyway, I go in. Tell me if this would bother you. I'm waiting for my French toast bagel with butter. The bagel comes out. She takes the bagel, she cuts it in half. She's got the gloves on. She takes the bagel, cuts it in half with the gloves on, puts the bagel in the toaster. While the bagel's toasting, she picks up her cell phone with the gloves on and is scrolling across her cell phone screen with the gloves on. Now all I'm thinking in my head is, fucking shit. Fuck. She's gonna keep those gloves on. And that fucking phone is so fucking nasty. No one washes their phone. She probably fucking looks at that phone on the fucking toilet. She probably fucking masturbates while she's holding that fucking phone. And now she's fucking got her dirty fucking gloves all over the fucking thing, right? So I was like, ugh. And then I had another little voice in my head that was like, Will, you're trying not to be a fucking germaphobe, man. This is one of those moments a germaphobe would just throw the fucking bagel in the trash. You know? A germaphobe would just fucking ask them to do it again with the germaphobe makes you into a dick, you know, because then you start saying things like, I'm sorry, I noticed you touched your phone. Could you maybe, like, make me a new bagel with fresh gloves and maybe, I don't know, not touch your phone this time? You know, turns you into one of those people. I can't be one of those people. So worst case scenario, I was just going to leave, throw the bagel in the trash, and go get breakfast someplace else. But I said to myself, Will, this is one of those moments. Don't be a germaphobe. Be a man. Eat it. Just fucking eat it. And if you get whatever germs this 40-something woman from Europe has on her fucking cell phone, so be it. You can't go through life a chicken shit. So I ate the fucking bagel. And that was like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still alive. So I think I made the right call. But would you have done it? That's the question I have. Would you have eaten the bagel, or would you have thrown it out? Same place I've been to before. The girl was like rubbing you know how like your nose gets oily, like in the crevice behind your nostril, like it just gets oily right there. She just kept rubbing that spot with her bagel gloves while she was waiting for my bagel to come out. I was like, you know why your skin might be greasy? Maybe you should stop buttering bagels and then rubbing your face with the glove that you butter with, you fucking butterball. So I stopped going there. And it's too bad, because I love a French toast bagel. I guess I'll have to find a new place. All right, guys, that's it for the podcast this week. Let me know all your answers. Go to willnoonan.com. Just added a bunch of dates. You can email me anytime, willnoonanComedy@gmail.com. T-shirts on the website. Haven't sold a T-shirt in a fucking month. And also my albums. Stream them. No one buys them. And number one, if you'd love to donate, I don't have a Patreon yet, but I'm loving the donations. You can hit me up on Venmo @WillNoonanComedy or PayPal. There's a button on my website on the podcast page. Hit the donate button. Donate through PayPal. Venmo @WillNoonanComedy. Thank you so much. Tell a friend. Remember, if no one told you they love you today, I do. Peace out. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Good morning. God, it's been a while. Good morning. 1, 2, 3.